Going to switch gears, as I said, and talk about this battle for the White House that has turned into, over the last couple of days, a battle over race. Both candidates just releasing dueling videos, and in those videos they attack each other on that issue. They also have been going at it on that issue on the campaign trail. Watch.
Donald Trump has built his campaign on prejudice and paranoia.
It's the oldest play in the Democratic playbook. You're racist, you're racist.
More and more it seems as though his real message seems to be make America hate again.
To remember these three words: shame on you.
Okay, all of that fuels the debate over who's best to fix inner city economic problems. We do have Fox News contributor Eboni Williams here with us in the studio, as well as New York GOP strategic advisor John Burnett. And, boy, it's been these couple of days. I said to the guys we were talking to, it's like we talk a lot about the economy. To some extent, this is an economic discussion, but Eboni, it's been much more than that. It's really gotten ugly the last couple of days. Who's been the winner and/or loser here? What do you make of it?
I think they both come across as incredible losers here.
Here's
why. Both of them, yes, because you've got two non-black people talking very much about black people in this kind of very pervasive negative narrative. But really, it's a bunch of blaming and name-calling. He's a bigot, she's a bigot. He's a racist, she's a racist. And what I see is the actual black community becomes a pawn in this. I don't hear a lot of actual discussions about the issue you brought up. How to actually fix some of these challenges the community has.
Because the issue, do you agree with that first, John?
Well, I think that Hillary's attacks should be expected. Why? Because Donald Trump is making a play for the mother's milk of the Democratic power base, which is the black vote.
Is he really?
But
I mean, he's at 1 or 2% in the vote in the community, in the black community.
But he's going after it.
So you think he's seriously making a play? The only reason I ask that is because what some people have been writing and saying is that this is really much more about suburban voters, many white women, for example, traditionally Republican, that Donald Trump has been losing in some of the polls, that his rhetoric this week is more about that than it is about the actual black community. What do you say to that?
Well, Donald Trump is going after the mother's milk of the Democratic Party base, and with that comes a lot of attacks. But I do agree with Eboni. Donald Trump has to stay on message. He has to state why his policies are better. Black people, including Black Lives Matter, already know the history of the Clintons, the crime bill, and everything that they have done that has decimated the black family. So Trump needs to just make sure that he gives black voters a reason to go to the polls.
Has he done any of that?
He's starting. It's a start. You know,
give me one reason. Give me one example that you've heard from this week. Says, yeah, you know what? This would help in the black community.
As far as jobs, in fact, he met with a group of not just black political leaders, but everyday common folk. And he listened to, what their gripes are in terms of jobs, education, criminal justice reform, things
of that
nature.
True, because that was a group of black leaders, black people, not where his rally, the criticism is, as you brought up, he's Donald Trump speaking to largely white crowds. So.
That's right. And look, hearing grievances and gripes is a start. I agree with you, John. You've got to start somewhere. But I'm really talking about policy proposals, talking about advancing entrepreneurship opportunities, talking about school choice, actual day-to-day things that are going to make life better economically and otherwise for the black community.
Well, and I'm not about business taxes, things like that. I mean, that doesn't matter what color you are.
He's done that, and he will continue to do that. But just to back up a moment, when he launched in terms of his advocacy in terms of the black vote and going after it, he stood up in front of a crowd of white people to tell them that, listen, there are a lot of issues in the black community that need to be addressed. How many other people have done that? And then he followed up with other meetings. So I think it's a good start. And he will continue.
I was going to say, final word, though, John. I would have been a little more persuaded, though, when he went to Jackson, Mississippi, which is 80% black, a ginormous black community. There would have also been a more diverse crowd.
I think in this situation, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Let me play something
people
from
on the left.
His campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, who was on the network, with Stuart Varney today, and responding to some of the attacks from Hillary Clinton's side on Donald Trump. Watch this.
This is all Hillary Clinton has. It's not like she can tell us, hey, it's a good idea that millions more are in poverty, or that Obamacare is a complete disaster, or that I have no policy for energy independence in this nation, or rebuilding our infrastructure, our economy.
She says Donald Trump empowers the white supremacists, empowers the racists by subtly...
And I'm personally offended. I'm the campaign manager of that campaign, and I'm personally offended that that's where she would take this conversation.
Well, the one thing I'd say, Eboni, is that Hillary Clinton did need, a lot of people would argue, to change the subject. This week has been a tough week. I mean, you're talking about emails, you're talking about the Clinton Foundation. This is how she chose to do it.
And that's
so,
nasty.
You know.
And that's nasty. And that's what I say.
So you think this is inappropriate?
This is completely inappropriate. This is using the black community, like I said, as a pawn for her political advantage. And I agree with John on this. She doesn't have a leg to stand on in terms of credibility. You've been in proximity to power for 30-plus years, Mrs. Clinton.
Right.
What have you done? What can you point to in your record that has tremendously helped this group of people?
And finally, John, do you think Donald Trump wants to talk about this topic? Do you think he's okay talking about this topic? It seems like he's doing it on purpose. He's going to go into the black community, he says. Last night he said in some cities like Detroit and others. Does this work for him, or would he be better off avoiding it?
Absolutely not. Donald Trump, if he's going to be a leader for everyone, he has to reach out to everyone, and he's doing that. He's putting action behind it, as well as policy. Again, he's listening, just like he does in terms of when he's erecting a building. He doesn't only talk to the project manager; he goes to the electrician and the plumber, and that's what he's doing now.
All right, thanks, guys. John,
I appreciate
Eboni,
the conversation.
Yeah.